I just picked up the Sony 50mm 1.8 lens, also known as the Nifty 50. I was in the market for a 50mm lens. It's something that I do not have. So I went to my local camera store. They had two options. They had the Sony G Master 50mm 1.4, or they had this, which I'm shooting on now, which is the Sony 50mm 1.8. There's a massive difference between the two. The G Master lens is $2,000. This beast of a lens is a whopping $249. This is also the cheapest that Sony makes, and this is also my first time ever having a Sony lens. I've always shot with third parties, so Sigma, Tamron, etc. A lot of the Sony lenses can get really expensive, and a lot of the third parties are really strong. So me being pretty new to this, I haven't found the need to really jump up or get any G Master lenses at this point. So I went with this. I wanted a 50mm lens because I do a lot of shooting with my Sigma 30mm 1.4. Sometimes that's still just a bit too wide for me. I wanted something in a little bit closer. I also wanted to be able to shoot farther from the subject. I do a lot of solo filmmaking, so for me, the ability to have some distance between me and the camera, especially when I've got all this gear and lights and microphones and stuff like that. The other is the 50mm lens is supposed to be your closest to the human eye, our point of view, or what we're seeing. And here is some of the footage that I got just testing it out like an hour ago. So the main things that I've heard about this lens or that I've seen is, one, the autofocus on this physically moves on the lens. So you'll see the lens doing a lot of hunting when it's trying to focus in on a subject. Most newer lenses now, that all happens internally, so you don't actually see the lens on a prime lens like this adjusting to catch autofocus. Because of that, it also has a very loud sound when it's doing that, when it's doing the hunting, as you can hear. But for me, I don't really care, because any situation that I'm gonna be in, I'm gonna be either holding a mic, I'm gonna have a lav mic on me somewhere, or I'll have the mic with my external recorder somewhere closer to me. I could see how it would be an annoying issue if you were putting a boom or any mic right on top of the camera, because it will pick up on that noise. But outside of that, it doesn't really affect me. A couple of the other knocks are there is no weatherproofing on this lens, and so I guess that could be pretty problematic for people that are shooting out in different conditions. I don't give a shit. I shoot in the same places most of the time. I'm typically indoors. I live in California. I'm not gonna be putting it under any crazy weather conditions or anything like that. And even if I did, it's a $250 lens. So it wouldn't be the end of the world if it got damaged. I wouldn't trust that on a lens that I'm spending $1,000 on or something. It's super light, probably because it doesn't have any weatherproofing. There's nothing else. There's no buttons. There's no autofocus. There's nothing on the lens itself. You just get this tiny little lens. And so that's actually been really nice. It's by far the lightest lens that I have. So it's very comfortable. And especially if you're gonna be doing a lot of shooting in a day, maybe a lot of photography when you're out traveling or something like that, I could see that being a huge plus, because it is a very, very light lens. Some of the other things that I saw were, the autofocus on moving objects. Maybe if they're moving really quickly, like sports photography or video or anything like that, would be a problem. I don't do anything like that, so it shouldn't be an issue for me. And when I went out and tested it, I thought I did a really good job of quickly autofocusing and being able to follow along with the subject. I'm gonna do a ton of shooting with this, I can already tell. Maybe down the road, I'll upgrade to a different 50, but for right now, for everything that I'm doing as an amateur, in every aspect of photography and videography, this is an amazing lens for $250. I would highly recommend it. I think it's a hell of a lens at the price point, and would love to hear your feedback if you have this lens or if you're thinking about getting this lens as well. See you on the next one.